There are several types of strategic alliances. Three of them are more significant in managing supply chains than the others. These are retailer-supplier strategic partnering, third-party logistics, and distributor integration. The types of retailer-supplier partnerships can be viewed on a continuum. At one end is information sharing, which helps the vendor plan more efficiently. And at the other end is a consignment scheme, where the vendor completely manages and owns the inventory until the retailer sells it. Starting with the first type of retailer-supplier partnership, quick response. Under quick response, vendor receives point-of-sale data from retailers and uses this information to synchronize production and inventory activities at the supplier. The retailer still prepare individual orders, but point-of-sale data is used by the supplier to improve forecasting and scheduling. The second type is continuous replenishment. Under this case, vendor receive point-of-sale data and use it to prepare shipment at previously agreed level to maintain certain level of inventory. The third type is advanced continuous replenishment, where suppliers may gradually decrease inventory at the retailer store or distribution centers as long as the service levels are met. Inventory levels are thus continuously improved in structured way. The fourth type is vendor managed inventory, VMI. The supplier decides inventory level for each product and the appropriate inventory policy to maintain this level. The aim of VMI is to eliminate retailers' oversight on specific orders. To manage these four types of retailer-supplier strategic partnerships, new skills may be developed by the vendor. For example, for a quick response, forecasting skills are required. For continuous replenishment, forecasting and inventory control skills are required. For advanced continuous replenishment, forecasting and inventory control skills are required. And for vendor managed inventory, retail management is required by the supplier. To implement retailer-supplier partnerships, both parties must go through the following steps. First, contractual terms of agreement must be negotiated. These include decisions concerning ownerships, as well as when this ownership should be transferred, credit terms, ordering responsibility, and performance measures, such as service level or inventory. Then, if it is not available yet, they need to develop an integrated information system. These information systems must provide easy access for both parties. Also, they need to develop effective forecasting technique to be used by the supplier and the retailer, as well as a tactical decision support tool to assist coordinating inventory management and transportation policies must be developed. There are several advantages of retailer-supplier partnership. The most important one is about system knowledge. The knowledge the supplier has about order quantities that enable the management of the bullwhip effect. Of course, bullwhip effect can be managed in different ways. For example, in a quick response, for instance, the knowledge is achieved through the transfer of customers' demand information that allows the supplier to reduce lead time, while in vendor-managed inventory, the retailer provides demand information and the suppliers make ordering decision. thus completely controlling the variability in order quantity. Of course, this knowledge can be leveraged to reduce overall system cost and also improve overall system service level. The benefits to the suppliers in terms of better service level, decrease managerial expenses, and also decrease inventory costs are very obvious. The vendor or the supplier should be able to reduce forecasting uncertainties and therefore managing or coordinating production and distribution in a better way. To be more specific, it will enable reducing forecasting uncertainties, lead time, reducing safety stock, reducing storage and delivery costs, as well as improving service level. On the other hand, there are a lot of problems or disadvantages associated with this type of strategic partnership. The first one is to enable the integration, advanced technology is required, and these types of technologies are normally very expensive. Also, in order to share the right information, trust must be developed, and trust comes at a cost. As well as, since most of the work are being done by the supplier responsibility increases. Therefore, he might need to hire more employees to do or to accomplish these responsibilities, as well as expenses at the supplier will increase, given that the supplier will be managing the inventory on behalf of the retailer. To address this issue, retailers should share decreased system inventory cost with the supplier. Now we will discuss two different examples. The first one is a success example and the second one is a failure. The first example is about VS Corporation. VS Corporation was founded more than 100 years ago. It manages well-known brands like the North Face, Timberland, Kipling, Lee, and so on. In 1989, they started vendor managed inventory program. So VF collects and analyzes point of sale data from each store. Based on that, they determine the inventory level. They also send a selling floor plan that indicates how the product should be displayed. It then determines the weekly inventory level required to generate the best return on investment. About 40% of its production is handled using the same or some type of automatic replenishment scheme. This is particularly notable because the program encompasses more than 350 different retailers and more than 40,000 stores locations, and it manages more than 15 million replenishment level. Their program is considered one of the most successful examples in their industry. The second example is Spartan stores. Spartan is a grocery chain that used to have vendor managed inventory for almost a year, but unfortunately it didn't work for them. The reason behind it is that buyers or retailers didn't trust the supplier's ability to manage inventories and deliveries. Therefore, they didn't spend any less time in making reorder, monitoring inventories, as well as deliveries. In the same time, the supplier didn't allay these fears. The problem was not because the supplier didn't forecast accurately. Instead, it was due to the supplier's inability to deal with the promotions, which are a key part of the grocery businesses. Therefore, since they were not able to manage promotion, delivery levels was very low during the peak demand, and it was like a loss for both the suppliers as well as the retailer. The second type of strategic alliances is distributor integration, DI. Distributors have closer relationship to the end user or the customer than the producer. Therefore, they have a lot of information about what the customer's needs and wants. And many of successful producers or manufacturers use these informations to improve their product lines as well as to make a new product developments. Therefore, manufacturers must treat distributors as business partners. Distributor integration can be used to address both inventory related as well as service related issues. In terms of inventory, distributor integration can be used to create a large pool of inventory across the entire distributor networks, which enable decreasing inventory cost and improving service level. Similarly, distributor integration can be used to meet customers' specialized technical service requests by steering these requests to distributors best suited to address them. Distributor integration is about creating an environment where different types of distributors collaborate with each other. This is not an easy task, and it might not succeed. The reason behind that is that maybe some of the distributor will be dismotivated to participate in such system. They might think that there is a chance that they will feel that they are providing some of their expertise in inventory control to less skilled distributors or partners in this case, especially when some of the distributors are larger and have bigger inventories than others. In addition, participating distributors will be forced to rely upon other distributors, some of whom they may not know, to help them to provide goods and services to customers. To do that, some requirements are needed. For example, they need to set up payment agreements for exchange of inventory and rotating of the services so that it will be contractually binding, as well as an electronic data change or EDI should be implemented for exchanging information. Also, an integrated logistics system is required. But integration using information technology will not be useful if integration between human beings doesn't exist. Therefore, they need to build trust between competing retailers or competing distributors, as well as imbalances in technical competencies and resource availability, size, and expertise should be sorted of by providing potential coordination of these competencies.